Amir, I think we can start if you're ready.
All right, good. So good to see you. We are making, it's not bi-weekly, by the way. The name in English, I think it's every fortnight. Yeah, so we have every Thursday, we have our fortnight meeting where we are just getting a little bit of update on where we are, and also bringing each time we want to allow some, I would say, what we feel is a powerful value and content that can serve you on the way forward. This time, today, as per the email you got, we have 3 guests, which are basically startups like you, which completed the previous program. We have Andreas. Hi, Andreas.
Hi.
We have Ashok. Hey.
Hey, guys.
And we have Dirk.
Hey, guys. Nice to see you.
So they are, they sat exactly in your chairs, I would say almost a year ago, maybe around that. And the purpose of the session today is to allow them to share some of their experience and around the pitching to the brands, around getting yes from a brand. If they got yes, let's check out in a minute. And then if they did get a pilot, what was the process of the pilot later on? What was created and what worked and what didn't work, and what did they learn from that? I obviously spoke to him before, and I told them only to say good things about HYPE. No. On the contrary, I told them to be very honest and answer all your questions. And because this is who we are, and I want it to be really a very open conversation. In addition, one of them, which is Ashok, from Edison AI, and each one of them also will present his startup briefly, have sold this company recently. He's still working in the new company and had what we call a nice exit. And he will share a little bit about his experience on the process itself, because I think, you know, some people think that it's very far down the line and only very few startups will have it, but I believe that this can happen to anybody of these startups that are here. And if, you know, if Ashok can share some of his insights, I think it will be very useful. And I know that he's gone through not an easy process on the way. So this is the game plan for today. In the end, we'll have time for Q&A. So that's this. Now, I don't know how you do it in Zoom, but I believe there is a way to allow the speaker to have a bigger picture. Yeah, you have on the right with the view. Yeah, I've just done it. So my invitation is to do that. So when they speak, you can see them, and it's not just everybody, you can see the speaker. Yeah. All right. Maybe it's obvious to all of you. I'm just the last person to know this in the room, so apologies for that. So I would like to start with Andreas. If you please, the game is like this. You share what's your company doing, because I want people to know what you're doing. If you have, like, I don't know, 1 minute video just to show what you're doing. And then my request is that you share a little bit about the process and what happened through, I would say, the first part of the program, the GVA 2, and the first meetings you had with the brands. Okay, so maybe we can start there.
Yes. Good that all of you are here and made it this far. I hope all of you enjoy the program as much as we did. So what do? We are Sponsu. I actually also have a video, but it's easier to explain it like this. We
Sure, all good.
Run the world's largest digital marketplace for sport sponsorship. So we connect athletes, sports team, sports events on the one side with brands on the other side. And help them book sponsorships in a digital process that is much easier, that is more data driven, where they have a super wide range of sponsorship opportunities, from like the team next door or hobby athletes to Premier League teams, the world's best esport teams, NFL players, large influencers, well, and anything in between. So that's what we do. We charge a commission on every sponsorship deal. That's how we make money. And well, there's a little more to say. It's as simple as that. We now are trying to grow as fast as possible in as many different countries as possible. Building a marketplace is always a competition for who has the highest market share. So the reason why we joined HYPE was that we think the network could really accelerate our growth. We were selected for, I think, 5 pilots, though not all of them did go through in the end. But the ones that did, and even the other ones, were really interesting. And we're still in touch with, for example, 888, the sports betting company that wanted to do a pilot, then didn't find the perfect sponsorship opportunity at that time. But the connection is still there, and we still maintain it. And we're pretty sure that at some point we're going to sell them something, ideally something really big, so that we earn lots of commission. Yeah, I mean, the process for us in the beginning was probably pretty similar to you. So we sat in the meetings with the potential partners. In every single meeting, we made notes, what they liked, what they were looking for. We actually did ask some question and also used the opportunity to already make an impression. And I know that Dirk is here from My Favorito. He definitely did that as well. So yeah, I heard Dirk's pitch quite often, and I think he heard ours also quite often. Yeah. And for us, I think that was good, so that the partners already had a rough idea when we pitched and remembered, okay, yeah, that was this company. They actually seemed interested in what we are looking for. Well, then when we pitched our solution, we made sure to tailor it to the partners where we think that we had the best chances of getting a pilot. So for example, we did a pilot with Gen G. So Gen G is one of the world's best esports teams. A pilot for them was, and also for SK Gaming or the other teams that sign up for on Sponsor, is designed in a way that it actually has a low entry barrier for them to say yes. So basically, we just allow them to create a profile on Sponsor. They created a profile, and now we're able to help them find additional sponsors. And for Gen G specifically, we already had a sponsor, coincidentally, that was looking to sponsor exactly this kind of team. So an elite international esport teams that is globally successful and has a large reach, and that they're not already working with, and that is not already sponsored by one of their competitors, and there are actually not that many that fit this description. So this was quite a good coincidence that this worked out. So when we pitched, and also directly afterwards, we directly mentioned, hey guys, listen, we have a sponsor from this and this segment, is one of the largest companies in this segment, and if you select us for a pilot, we would love to connect you. And obviously that got them interested. So point is, we made a very specific, easy to understand value proposition to not all of the partners. We couldn't do that for everyone who listened, but to the ones who we thought were the most promising.
Andreas, just to emphasize what you're saying here, is that you made sure that the value proposition for pilot is very clear and very appealing to the brands, sport properties you were aiming for. Yeah,
exactly. Didn't always work out. So for example, Sport5 is also one of the partners. Sport5 is also one of our competitors. They also sell sports sponsorships. also one of our partners already. So we do partner with like a dozen Sport 5 teams and sold sponsorships for them and then share the commission. But we wanted to do like a real official pilot and specifically highlighted some of the points that they were looking for, and we're actually quite sure that they would select us, but they didn't. We now know why, so they are working on something similar, totally independently of HYPE anyway, so probably that was the reason. But yeah, so it doesn't always work out, but it did work out for the partners that selected us. I can keep on. I will keep on talking.
I think that was good. I wanted to bring to the conversation now, Dirk. Dirk, maybe you can refer also to the process, expectations from the program. How did it work for you? And the first part of getting yes from the brands.
Yeah, thanks, Andreas. You actually covered all the points. And again, thanks so much for the opportunity. I see so many faces here, and I can fully remember when I was in that seat, basically, right? So I think you're all types of startups, different stages, and with big hopes and high expectations. So pleasure to be here and talk a bit about experiences. So we are MyFavorito. The problem we want to solve is actually we want to help sports clubs make more money. We want to build a platform that is attractive for many more companies, for many more businesses around the world to actually support sports clubs, right? Because you can imagine only 1 out of 1,000 companies actually supports a sports club, right? Small one, big one, middle-sized one. And we want to increase that number. So if I may, Amir, I can play a quick video so you know what MyFavorito does.
Yeah.
Gives you a bit of background. And maybe some of you have nice solutions and maybe we can partner. It would be nice as well. Can you see my screen?
This is not your traditional sports.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Cool. So I go full screen.
This is not your traditional sports sponsorship because that model no longer works. MyFavorito is the fan-empowered sponsorship platform. Fans decide every time they buy a burger, shop for groceries, shop online, or watch a TV ad. It's a radically different approach to sponsorship because clubs never have enough money, brands can't fight hard enough for engagement, and fans can only show their love on game day. We're here to flip the model, to enable fans to make real money for the club they love, to help brands activate by building real love and getting real returns, to ensure clubs win, accessing a new infinite revenue source and creating their own sustainable future. By putting the money taken by the tech giants back into the game and empowering the people who matter most. It's not just sport that wins, but entire communities. Let's change the game. Not just better, but radically different. Fans decide. Collect a MyFavorito code whenever you spend on everyday brands. Spend money buying a product or simply spend time watching a video. Make money by scanning or entering the code. Send money to the club you love. Brands activate. Join MyFavorito for free and build your sports community. Share sponsorship promotions, products to buy, or videos to watch. Connect with more customers, make more sales, build more loyalty. Clubs win. Join MyFavorito for free and build your sports community. Engage and reward your fans and supporters with active promotions. Receive real money and put sponsorship dollars into your club. This is MyFavorito, the fan-empowered sponsorship platform for sports clubs around the world. Not just on game day. Every day, everywhere. It's game on. It's for love and money. It's MyFavorito.
Thanks so much for watching. I forgot a question, Amir.
Yeah, and all good. If you can share how, when you pitch to the brands, what you got one pilot from which is you already completed with FC Bologna from the Serie A. If you can say, what did you do good to get the yes and what didn't work when you got no's from other brands?
Yeah, so Andreas already shared many of the secrets, right? So in GVA 2, one big element was that we got the opportunity to meet around 30 brands, right? And each brand actually started a meeting, took around 90 minutes. So you can do the math, right? 30 times 90 minutes. Actually, we spent more than a day in Zoom meetings learning about the brands. And when I say brands, I mean federations, broadcasters, and big clubs, right? So the biggest difference, I mean, many of you probably pitch to investors, but investors are actually not very much interested in what you do and what type of problem you solve. They only want to see your numbers, which sucks. But when you think about brands, when you think about federations, clubs, broadcasters, they actually are interested in your solution, right? So they want to know exactly what the solution is all about. They want to know exactly what type of team you have behind yourself, right? What your ability to execute is. If you're just in an idea stage, or if you are a mature startup, if you are ready to become a part of their company, because they spend all the time because they are interested in your solution, right? So in these sessions, we only had a few minutes to ask a question, actually just 1 minute, ask a question, introduce ourselves. But the most important part was that we learned firsthand about all these brands, right? So in the case of Bologna FC, the chief of marketing, Christoph Rinteling, actually talked 90 minutes long about all the challenges in the club. What type of solutions they want, what type of challenges they had, where their strong points are, where the weak points are. And all of us were able to think along these lines, right? And actually prepare ourselves for pitch day, because in pitch day, you cannot get along with a standardized pitch at all, right? Each brand, be it the German Football Federation, for example, or FIBA, which is the World Basketball Federation, or broadcasters like DAZN, for example, right? Or big brands in the sports club world, like Bologna FC or the Vegas Knights and many other more. You need to customize your pitch to them, right? So you need to understand what is the actual problem. What are they looking for? Maybe they don't look for your solution. Maybe you have something crazy, radically new that they never heard about, right? So this was one of the biggest challenges I think every startup had, because a standard presentation, a standard video, a standard pitch doesn't work there, right? And Amir, if you want to know what was our secret, actually, it was really doing the hard work, right? So building a pitch every time a new pitch, maybe use some certain elements, central elements.
Every session you had the one-on-one session with a brand, you've tailored the one-on-one session for the specific brand, yeah?
Of course, yeah, totally. So we built a demo, right? Each demo actually costed us around 10 to 12 hours to build it. And then we did it for the famous 10 minutes we had with the brands, right? So, and this showed.
Some said yes, some said no. Can you share maybe the one that said no, what do you think was missing, or it just didn't fit their, just like any kind of, they were maybe looking for something else? Or things that you've learned maybe to do better if you, from this process.
Yeah, okay, so this was a selection show. So the brands actually one by one said what are our favorites, right? And the ones that didn't select us didn't give us a reason, or didn't say why. So we can only assume what the reason was. But
I mean, afterwards, when you had the one-on-one meetings with them, you still needed to get them to say yes and to move forward with you. Yeah, true. What worked and didn't work there, if you can maybe share.
So I think number one is really when you build your pitch, when you pitch to them, be as personal as you can be, right? Really be along what their challenges are, what they are looking for, or customize your solution so it looks like as if it is live already with them, right? This is one big thing. This costs time, but it can pay off, right? So it also shows how mature your solution is, how mature your team is, and how quick you are, right? Because to be very honest, no big company actually wants to deal with bloody stupid startups, right? That's a fact. They would love to deal with the boring big companies of their size, but these companies are way too slow. Everything takes forever, right? No innovation power at all. So that's the reason why they talk to you. But the other truth is you are bloody startups. Things will fail with you, right? Things will not work out. They will, think about all these brands. They are big multi-million-dollar entertainment machines. They will take your solution and put it in their production processes, and you will be very lucky when you survive. The normal case would be you die, and then you need to step up as quick as you can, right? Remember that Twitter dolphin that you see many times when Twitter stopped working because the load was too heavy. So this is the type of scenario here in the sports world. It's massive. It's a big industry, and it's typically millions of fans all coming in at the same time on match day, right? Which is good and bad. The good thing is every Saturday, every Sunday, you have your big show, and between Monday and Friday, you can improve and you can do things better. So this is the nice thing about this industry.
Dirk, thank you. Let's keep something for later where you can share the actual pilots itself and maybe some, I would say, things that worked and helped you go through this successfully. And I would like to invite Ashok to join us. Ashok, maybe you can present yourself and your company, and also if you can share with us, things that worked for you in the beginning. How was the process, and lesson learned?
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations to all of you to get to this stage. There are thousands and thousands of startups out there, and the fact that you have this opportunity in front of you, you must give yourself a pat on the back. The way I see this is that at this stage now, with I don't know, 20, 30 partners waiting to hear to what you are saying, explain their problems one-on-one, and potentially give you pilots is a massive opportunity. And that's a core differentiating feature of HYPE. And I would grab it with both hands. So that is a great position to be in. And I'm very, very excited for all of you. So to talk about Edison briefly, now I'm actually talking about it a little bit in the past tense because like Amir mentioned, we sold our company out to Fubo, but what Edison is an AI-based fan engagement platform. So we had built a computer vision based technology platform that does player recognition, brand recognition, digits on the player jersey, etc. All of this in real time on a live sporting event. And the ability for you to be able to click on a player and see stats, click on Ronaldo and buy his merchandise, click on LeBron James and place a bet on him to score 30 points in the next game, or participate in polls and stuff like that. So we have the ability in real time, and we believe we were the only company in the world that could do this in real time on any sporting event, to do player recognition, do fan engagement, drive interactivity, and drive monetization on the back of our technology. And this could work on the web, on the app, and on connected TVs as well. So that was the core value proposition. It is actually live. It was live on a few pilots that we did with HYPE. It is on the Wolves website as well. I can share some links later on for you to see how the technology works. Happy to discuss offline more in detail about what Edison does, but that is not the more important thing. To talk through our experience with HYPE, like Dirk mentioned, there were about 25, 30 partners in the broadcasters, teams, and leagues section. We were fortunate enough to get accepted to do pilots with about 20, 21 of them. So we basically did not bargain for us to do 20, 21 pilots. We ended up kicking off about 7, 8 of them. We ended up going live with 3 or 4 of them. Some of them in very beta stealth mode, some of them actually going live as well. But at the same time, we had an acquisition conversation going on with one of our clients, which turned out to be eventually a company that acquired us, which is Fubo TV in New York, which is a broadcast company. So learnings from the pilot stage, I think that's what you're looking at. I think Dirk and Andrea covered most of it. Customization is absolutely critical. In fact, we had a football-based demo, a basketball-based demo, a baseball-based demo, and a general sports-based demo. And even within leagues, broadcasters, and teams, we had a league-based demo, a broadcaster-based demo, and a team-based demo, because each one of them have different use cases. You can't have one demo which fits all, right? And as Dirk mentioned, it's a lot of effort, but we did that. Secondly, the head of digital for a major Premier League club or the Bundesliga or the Atlanta Hawks is coming and talking about their problems which they are facing. Now, where will you get that opportunity to listen to them, right? So just make copious notes. I was in India at that time, continue to remain in India. So these calls would happen at 2 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning for me, because Atlanta Hawks is sitting in the East Coast in the US. But the fact that they're able to explain their problems, is you can leverage that when you're pitching to them one-on-one, put a deck which actually tell them what they explained their problem was and how we are going to solve it with a custom demo. I think that what I could see is that the companies, the startups in our cohort, which were successful in getting pilots, did this, and some of them which had a one-size-fits-all standard demo which they did for everybody, I don't think they were as successful. Customization is key. The other point which I want to sort of highlight, and I want to keep it short here, is make it as frictionless as possible for a partner to say yes, right?
As what? As what?
Frictionless, no friction, right?
Friction?
Frictionless, yeah, no friction.
Okay.
There must be zero obstacles in their path. See, they've all come in wanting to give you a pilot, but the more hoops you make them to jump through to give you a pilot, the more chances for them to say no. Or the way for most sports teams to say no is not respond, come back later. I'll talk about it. We have an internal meeting, come back in 2 months' time, right? So if you go with potentially a zero cost pilot, if you go in potentially saying, look, we don't need anything from you. We just need 5 minutes of your time, 1 hour of your time to understand, and then we will do everything on our own. If you go to them saying, I don't need any dev resources from you to integrate my pilot into your ecosystem, right? If you go in saying, we only need some, if you can go in and saying, use my pilot, you can actually start generating revenue by talking to your sales guys and your marketing guys, because typically you'll be talking to the digital guys here.
Amazing.
But if you can give them something which they go to marketing, that will be helpful. Yeah, these are some.
Just emphasize what you said, Ashok, because I think it's very important. Sometimes startups are coming to brands and say, yeah, we have an amazing solution, but what we need from you is A, B, and C, and then they feel, oh, that's a lot of work. Why should I do that? And what you said is that part of your ability to get to enroll so many brands, apart from the fact that you have a very, I would say, impressive product, is that you made the implementation of a pilot almost I would say, as you said, friction free, yeah, or risk free for them, and effortless almost. So they don't need to think, oh, how do I do that? How do I enroll my marketing team? How do I get my CFO to? So you made it as swift as possible on one hand, and also you touched the upside, which is important to them. So you could even use this pilot to show your team that you can generate a little bit of revenue out of this. So you touch the upside and the risk element, which they could be thinking, how can, I want simple life. Those people, they would like, they have maybe some complicated activities already. They don't want to overcomplicate what they do now already. Great. Please, anything else you want to add on that, Ashok?
No, I guess you summarized that well, Amir. See, I'll give you an example.
Yeah, if
don't
you can
quote me
also
outside this
mention
group.
some
Yeah.
brands and maybe some live pilot you've done, and what did you learn from that?
Yeah, no, I'll give you. It's easier for us to explain why. So one of the partners that selected us was Delta Trade. Some of you might have heard of them. Massive company. They were in the news today, I think. A private equity firm in the US is buying them out for $900 million. So huge company. And we were talking to Pietro Marini, who is the son of the founder, basically, right? And so HYPE was able to get
head
them.
Head of innovation.
Head of innovation. Yeah.
And the son of the owner, yes.
Yeah. And head of innovation. So his role is to work with companies like us, right? He is setting up his thing saying, I want to work with companies like Edison and whoever else is selected. We selected 4 or 5 of them. But from the day he's never been, I mean, more positive. He's been saying fantastic product, great company, we want to work with you, etc. But just to get the wheels in motion for Delta Trade, to arrive at a pilot thing will take 4 or 5 months. Because it's just too many moving parts for them to just align everything, which division, etc., right? So while he was super interested, even till the end, it's a 4 or 5 month process, we were not able to scope out a pilot, let alone implement it for us, right? Because it just takes so much time, and we were not able to crack an easy solution for him where he had to do nothing. Whereas for other companies, like with the Atlanta Hawks, with the Milwaukee Bucks, even with Wolves, we said, look, send us a link to your recent highlights video. We will download it ourselves, do a demo on our own website, our own demo website, and send that to you for you to circulate internally. So it's a fully customized working demo, which they could then circulate. That became successful for us. Whereas Delta Trade, we could not do that because they are a service provider to other clubs. So therefore, it was too much of hoops for them to jump. So just a couple of examples for you.
Great. I would invite our founders here to open your mics if you have some questions for Dirk, Andreas, and Ashok. I'm sure there are things you want to ask them. Please do not be shy. You can ask them anything you want about anything. Yeah, they don't have to answer. Of course, yeah, could be some of the things are confidential or whatever, but feel free. It's it's important that there is open communication here.
Yeah, sure.
And just before, if you would like to ask a question, please introduce yourself and your company name, and then please ask.
Okay. Thanks, Amir. Thanks, Andrea, Ashok, and Dirk. I have a quick question for Andrea and Dirk.
Name and company name.
Hey, sorry, Amir. My name is Amit, and the name of my company is Football Fan. We are a Web 3.0 social app for football, where fans collect fan coin for every contribution they make to the app. So a question for you both. You both are in the sponsorship business, and I met one of the companies at one of the events at Tottenham Stadium before COVID, and they were in similar kind of business. And what they told me was, though they were providing a solution for the clubs, a sponsorship solution, but clubs were not ready to accept those kind of solutions because they already had some supply chain built. They already had some partners there who used to go and hunt those sponsors for them. They have in-house teams to do that as well. So how did you crack all these things? Did you face any of those kind of challenges? Any such experiences would be good to learn from you guys.
Good. Actually, a good question. I'm pretty sure that Dirk and my answer will be quite different because Dirk's definition of sponsorship is a little bit different of ours. So for us, sponsorship can be everything. So basically any sort of marketing service against money or goods. So we have quite a broad range. And yes, obviously all of these larger clubs have either an in-house sponsorship team or an exclusive sponsorship agency, or they or a combination of that, and they work kind of half exclusive. And what we learned, it's a little bit more difficult to get them to a pilot if they have an exclusive agency. So if they already work with Sport5 or CAA exclusively, they would have to get their permission to do a pilot or any sort of collaboration with us. And usually that's a little bit difficult. Unless we have a very specific sponsor that wants to sponsor exactly this club, then usually we find a way to work it out with the agency. But the general thing is, and Ashok mentioned that, Dirk mentioned, we need to make it as easy as possible for them to say yes. And if the value proposition is, hey, you don't have any risk, we will not go out saying, okay, so this club is now on sponsor, everyone sponsor them. We always go out with our entire portfolio, and if sponsor wants to book exactly that, then we will make the connection. So we will not interfere with your activities. It will not cost you anything. Up front, obviously, if we bring a sponsor, then it's our sponsorship and we earn a commission. We will help you set up the profile so it doesn't take you any effort. You can change the profile visibility settings so that your profile is only visible to top sponsors. So basically, all the reasons why they would say no, we eliminated all of them. And in the end, it boils down to, hey, do you want additional sponsorship pre-qualified leads without paying any upfront cost, just with a share of the sponsored revenues that you would generate? And even at that point, you can always still say no if you don't like their proposition. And to that proposition, it's quite difficult to say no to. And sometimes they still did. So for example, the French Football Federation selected us for a pilot, but didn't go through with it because at that time, their sponsorship team was super busy with the Euro. And they didn't have the time to work with any additional partners and just said no, but at least we got it to pitch to them and they looked into it, and the sponsorship team actually looked into it, so it was worth the effort. And the other one said yes, so it's always, you don't always have a 100% conversion rate. I talked way too long, sorry.
No, all good, Andres. Any other questions?
Yeah, Alex from Meta Marketing Agency. That's Alex Jackma. So the process from, the initial pitch to the brands to having a more designated meeting and then to, potentially closing, what's that process in terms of a timeline? And typically, how long does it take from the first time you meet with all the brands and get to explain versus the second meeting to potentially third and fourth?
Anybody wants to take that? Andreas, Dirk, Ashok?
I can take it again. So
Please.
maybe for us, it differed quite a bit. So Gen.G, we already had this very specific sponsor that wanted to work with them. So they already started, hey, okay, let's start right away before we even have the selection day. So at that time, we were already in discussions with the sponsor. By the way, the sponsor didn't book the sponsorship in the end, but it went through it was so close. It was even already approved on a C-level and by the controlling department. So I hope they will do it this year. So that went really fast. On the other side of the coin with Chivas, we're still in the process of executing the stuff that we agreed upon. We basically didn't hear back from them for half a year. We continued to follow up with them and keep them in the loop. And at some point, they actually then reached out to us and said, "Hey, look, we know there's this HYPE thing. We want to do it. Let's move forward." So it really depends. The important thing is that you keep following up in a friendly way without getting too much on their nerves, but be persistent.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe Alex, maybe I can add to Andreas' point. So you are fully in the hands of the brands there, right? And you have to deal with all types of issues, of circumstances. And here an echo. Alex, can you go mute, please? Thanks. So the thing is, as Andreas said, right? For example, at Bologna FC, the person that was responsible for us was not even hired. Right? In the German Football Association, we had a meeting with 10 people from all different departments right after 3 weeks. Right? So for such a big organization, this was light speed. Right? And some others were I can say many of them were very quick actually compared to their size. Right, but you need to know that the person that actually makes the selection for you could be the chief innovation officer, could be chief marketing. So, but he still needs to build his team internally, right? So he needs to also introduce you internally, find the right resources, and so expect the best, but prepare for the worst.
Maybe one sentence. Sorry, Alex. Then after that. It's important to know that it's your job to get the pilots done. So if you just sit there and wait for the partners to do everything for you, that's not gonna work. So it's your job to follow up. You're in charge of the process, even though they're in charge of making the decisions. But if you just leave everything to them and wait there and sit, you will have much lower chances of getting something done.
Perfect. That answers the question. Perfect.
Thank you. Alex Burstein, you wanted to ask something?
Yes. So I really thought it was interesting what Dirk mentioned before. So I'm really just extremely impressed by how well your presentations went, because my experience, quite frankly, was pretty much the opposite. I mean, I do have to say that we spoke to a very well-known brand where we were really hopeful about having potentially revealing conversations about their needs and about the pilot, so to speak, setup and the potential framework of how it can actually be accomplished. So Dirk, I must say, like 10 people getting back to you within like, a couple of days, that's freaking impressive. That's great. So our situation, just to give everyone an example, and maybe anyone can, share that. I'm not sure if it was just particular us because our presentation was particularly bad, but I mean, we specified all these points that you have kindly mentioned, both you and Andreas and Ashok. You need to be very straightforward. You need to prepare. You need to have a clear idea. You can't overburden the brand. You have to have a very clear, a very frictionless, very precise product demonstration. We had all of that down, and then the brand told us, quite frankly, like, we really don't care about the product. We're not aiming to cooperate with any startups now, and we actually don't really, we're not really interested in actually collaborating no matter what you offer us. So I'm just wondering, like, how could you possibly turn the motivation of your potential business partners around, like, by just so much? Like, did you offer them, any kind of specific benefits that I'm not aware of? Like, did you have like an army of, like marketing specialists on board that actually kind of like convinced them that you were like the best solution available in the market? I'm just wondering, like, Alex, what could be a potential solution to overcome those obstacles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe I can answer this, Alex. Thanks so much. Thanks for the question, but the simple answer is, first, welcome to real life. And the second is, yes, money helps. So you are in the sports world. So if you look at many successful startups that actually went through the roof, many of them bought their way through it. Yeah, it's not always that the best solution wins. But when I say welcome to real life, first of all, the company you pitch to must be ready. Your team must be ready. Your product must be top notch. And the person that actually makes the deal happen kind of needs to love you. So there's a lot of chemistry in this. There are humans in it, people in it, and everything can go wrong, right? It's like a relationship at the end of the day. If someone doesn't like you, the deal will not happen, no matter how great your product is. So, but when you look at big success stories, like look at Socios, for example, right? So the rising star in the NFT scene. I think they got around 100 big clubs live on their platform now, right? Are flooded with investor money, and becoming a great success story, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, they can pay, they can buy their way in many regards, right? They become a sponsor in Inter Milano or become a sponsor in Real Madrid. They pay around 100K, or they pay even 3 times the amount the existing sponsor pays. So that's the good and the bad about the sports industry. And the other thing is, Alex, when you get a no right now, this is what we learned, it's not a no for forever, right? So in 6 months from now, you can go in there, maybe the person, maybe the decision maker changed, maybe you changed, maybe your product became better, your team became better, and you get a new chance to try again.
Well,
I would like to wrap up as just in terms of being aware of time, just in terms also of allowing a fair share of the 3 guests we have. Ashok, anything you want to say just to maybe complete, and then I will just summarize the session, maybe give us some food for thought with regards to the future. Yes, please, Ashok.
Yeah, look, I think it's largely been covered. Great questions, and but getting a pilot is one thing, but that is just the beginning of the journey. To scope it out and get them to actually commit resources, even if there is very little resources, you still need something from them, obviously, to implement it. Is sometimes a 3-month, 4-month process. With Wolves, we actually had to do a couple of. Actually, we did 3 videos, or actually we did 5 videos for free.
The Wolverhampton Wanderers from the Premier League.
From the Premier League. Yeah. So we did 5 videos for free, and then we converted that into a full-time project, which is 30 videos through the season. And that is a 3-month process to do those 5 videos. Because the game had to happen, we had to get the highlights and stuff like that. So it is an actual sales process.
This pilot, you invested in the pilot, and eventually, in this case, it paid off and it converted to a commercial agreement. Yeah.
Yes. There were a couple of other use cases. There are a couple of other pilots where we did something for free, but that ended up being fully in stealth mode because the partner was not ready to expose their thinking to the rest of the world. So one major broadcaster in the US and one in Canada, both of them had this issue. So each one of them is a pure play sales process. You have to treat it like a sales thing. HYPE gets you in the door, but after that, it's a regular sales cycle. Unfortunately, sports teams, clubs, broadcasters take more time than normal. We had the pandemic to deal with. I think this cohort will probably have to deal with recession-related issues. So give yourself more time than you think it takes to convert a yes to an actual implementation. That's my only word of caution.
Thank you very much. I think it's a great opportunity to acknowledge all 3 of you, Dirk, Andreas, and Ashok. I think this was, at least from my perspective, very, very useful, and I hope the guests here, our founders here, think the same. Would it be okay if they approach you, if they have a question on a personal, so they can find you, I believe, on LinkedIn? Yes, Andreas?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please connect with us.
Feel free to contact them directly if you have any question, and thank you again for serving them and giving back. I would like, I know some of you may have additional questions, but I just want to take the last couple of minutes and first of all update you that, as you know, we are building now the process with the brand, so it hasn't started yet. If a few of you had a little bit of pitching, this was just warming up the engines. The real pitching is around the corner, and we are now putting together I would say, the ability for you to pitch to the brands and crystallizing the needs of the brands. And this will come up as we are marching forward. So as I mentioned on the last meeting, we invite you to bring these patients because we want to make this introduction meaningful. So you are pitching to the ones that are really interested in what you have to say. I don't want to waste your time and their time. But it will happen. And again, as we said, not all of our founders here and will eventually be part of the program and be chosen to a pilot with the brands. And we know that, and that's part of the game. But our commitment is to make sure that the best of you will be able to get into this program, into a pilot, and then hopefully develop through this and be part of the ongoing activities that we have here. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to have another session, which will hopefully be as useful as this one. I think the next session probably will be with the brand, with some brands that will join us. So something to look forward to. In meanwhile, any question you have, any thoughts, anything else, please feel free to communicate directly with Gomez. You know, if something is not working or you want to contact me, feel free to do that. But Gomez is your, just in terms of my time availability, obviously he will be more available to response. I think that's it for today, unless anybody wants to say anything meaningful in the end or share anything.
Yes, Amir, Bura speaking from Ultimate Needs.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I kindly request that please share this session video again, all the attendees, if you possible. You already did that.
To share
this session video. Yes, this session video.
Gomez, this video is recorded. Can we share it with the team?
Yes, we can. Everyone here will receive it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good. All right. Thank you.
I have two last points.
Yes.
Very quick. HYPE has a good social media department, good reach. If you have success stories, use them as an amplifier. We figured that this worked quite well for us and also for some of the other startups. And also connect to the other startups. We think that connecting from the other startups, not just in HYPE, we also were in other networks, was one of the most valuable things that we gained from these kind of programs. So make use of that and enjoy.
Thank you very much, Andres. All right. Thank you very much all. Have a great rest of the day and we'll speak very soon. Thank you very much for joining today.